Well, where are we? We're in the ambulance. This is the thing that my partner and I are currently renovating to build a camper out of. You know, nobody's doing that these days, so we figured we'd give it a shot. This is the positive comment reading video that I promised y'all, and y'all have been asking for it. Here it is. We'll also talk about a few other side things here, and we did have a ton of positive comments last year. So if yours doesn't make it into this video, I'm sorry. I couldn't include everything. How this will work is we'll go back and forth. I'll read a positive comment that we got and maybe talk about it a little bit, and then I'll show you something that we're working on in the ambulance right now. And by the way, we are taking name suggestions right now. We fingered through the baby boy and baby girl book, but nothing really seemed to fit the ambulance. And strangely, there's no books about how to name your ambulance. I also want to mention that we're not going to be covering questions today, so if you ask questions in the comment, even if it was like a positive question, it's probably not going to be in this video. You're going to have to wait till we do another Q&A, but don't let that stop you from asking questions. Love questions. They're awesome, and I try and answer them when I can. If you watch the 200 subscriber special on the channel, and if you haven't, go check it out, but we made moonshine cookies, or tried to. And you may have noticed that it looks slightly different than a lot of the videos coming out now. That's because that video was actually shot during quarantine when I was working with somebody else on a different YouTube channel, and that video never got posted. And I wanted to share it with y'all because it's a younger version of myself, which I think is fascinating, and I also think that the technology and my editing skills have evolved quite a bit, so it's kind of interesting for me at least to see the stark contrast between what I used to do and what's coming out now. Anyway, let's get started. I'm also only going to say it once. If I mispronounce your name, I'm sorry. Feel free to comment and tell me how to pronounce it. I'm going to do my best, and that's all I can give. We'll start out this positive comment episode with none other than Laura Burback, maybe Laura Burbatch. I'm going to go with Burback. Thank you, Laura. You've been showing me and this channel so much love on pretty much every video, which is so awesome, and it's definitely a highlight for me to be able to look at the channel and see that kind of positivity popping up over and over again. One thing that Laura said on the moonshine cookie video was, what about tequila-filled chocolates? And I want to share that I've actually tried to make this before, and I was not successful. The freezing point of alcohol is way colder than the freezing point of any other liquid that's water-based and oil and everything. So it's extremely challenging to get a liquid inside of the center of a chocolate because I'm not a chocolatier, but I have tried it and I did not succeed in it in the past. Laura also said, I love all of your videos. I especially love it when you do silly things. I love your sense of humor, with a bunch of hearts. So thank you, Laura. Very sweet of you. So the first thing I'll show you in here is actually this black thing right here. This is a diesel heater and an air conditioner. It doesn't really work, we don't think. It's kind of hard to test the air conditioning section of it because it's about 12 Fahrenheit during the day at the warmest part of the day. So of course there's going to be cold air coming out of it. But we've been trying to figure out how to get that to work, and this comes to the switchboard here, which we'll talk about after the next comment. This one is from another repeated commenter, and one of the channel's primetime star fans that I love as well, and their name is Blue Jamie. And Blue Jamie has a couple comments that we'll talk about in this video today. And one of them is, another good video. Not exactly sure how I found your channel, but very glad I did. Had me tear up in this video and laugh immediately after as long as it's not children. If you don't know what Blue Jamie's talking about, I started crying because I was so excited and grateful in our wrap-up video for 2021, and I responded to something. You can go watch that if you want to hear more about that. They said, just put my 2 weeks in at my job today and gonna figure out what to do next. Definitely leaving the Midwest. Also, Happy New Year. Can't wait to see what 2022 brings. I'm so with you, Blue Jamie. Congratulations on making that big step. We're actually in the Midwest right now, near Detroit, building out this ambulance, so maybe you'll see the ambulance in a video, then we'll pass each other on the highway. That'd be pretty cool. If that happens, honk, please, and then we'll flash the sirens. I'm going to talk about this cabinet here. This is one of the original medicine cabinets that came in the ambulance. There was another one up there, but we pulled it out, and it slides open. It's really cool because it's got these little nuts that you can loosen, and then you can actually raise and lower these shelves.
this is what it looks like when that's, whoops, when that's removed. So you could just basically slide this up and down, and these are all, this rack is all from the shelves that we're in. The one that was over there before we removed it. But I really like it. It's this kind of smoked glass kind of deal. So it's slightly medical, but also kind of domestic.
Blue Jamie also said that they wish that they saw the trailer video before it sold. If you haven't seen that video, it's like a commercial basically that I made with a couple of friends trying to sell my 1966 trailer. And it sold, by the way. And I'll just show you. So I sold it to an antique trailer restorer, and I talked to him. We have permission to put these on the channel and everything. But check out these awesome pictures, and it's just quite a crazy difference between what I tried to do when I restored the trailer like 4 years ago and what this fellow is able to do. It's just, you know, pure talent, awesome stuff, and I think he was able to turn quite a profit on it. So, and I'm really, really excited about that because that thing needed a lot of love. There were, I think, over 17 bullet holes in the side of it. So, awesome work, dude. It was a pleasure doing business with you, and I'm glad you were able to make such a cool thing out of that project. Ontario Rockhound also commented, very cool video on our rockhounding video, that the Trans-Utah Rockhounding Extravaganza. So go check out Ontario Rockhounding, pretty cool channel over there, and it's always nice to, you know, it's a pretty niche thing, I think, rock hounding, so it's nice to be able to meet other people online. A while ago we talked about Agate Dad, which is another one of my YouTube heroes, and they're up here by the Great Lakes, and they look for cool agates and other stuff. Rocks are awesome.
Something I'm really excited about is near this back door here. So we've got these big doors, pop them open, and you've got a switch or a step right there. We might replace that with wood, but you can see this is pretty nasty here. So what I think we're gonna do with this is replace it with some kind of glow-in-the-dark grip tape so we can see it at night.
On one of the camp videos, Mac Masterman commented, "Hey Cedar, where are you hiding?" And Mac, I cannot tell you where I'm hiding because then I wouldn't really be hiding anymore. And I'm always kind of moving around anyway, so if I told you now, I probably wouldn't be there by the time you got to me. But I'd love to see you soon, Mac. We're old-time friends.
Woohoo! Look at this whole mess of wires here. Yeehaw! We got the brake lights here, which is pretty exciting. But this actually used to be a whole box of metal that came up here. You can see where we grinded everything down. We probably cut through probably about 16 linear feet of metal box to get a smaller metal box. Now, bed is going to go here eventually. But this was a nightmare. This took like 3 or 4 days to do. And this door still opens to the outside.
If you're new to this channel, you might not know that every Halloween we release a short film or something that has a little bit of extra oomph to it to celebrate Halloween, which is my favorite holiday, and I think it's also the greatest subject matter for videos and a lot of media. There's so many Christmas movies out there. There's also a lot of horror movies, but not really that many Halloween movies, you know, except for Halloween 1, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, Halloween 4, and I'm sure there's more than that, but this year for Halloween we made a video called Squash. Me and a bunch of friends went out into the desert and we packed a butternut squash full of explosives and shot it, and it exploded, and we started with that idea of the stunt and a bunch of cool areas that we had found while exploring in the desert in Utah, and we just decided to throw them all into a blender and try and make a fun skit out of it, and we had an absolute blast doing it. We shot it in September, and it was 115 degrees in Moab, and just use that as a note to know that climate change is not real. But we shot that video, it was a blast, and the Ravens Living Room, who's somebody that I've worked with on YouTube before, they commented a quote from the skit, and they said, "I will literally go to any lengths to kill this squash. Do you hear me?" If that's not a teaser for the video, I don't know what it is. But go check out the Ravens Living Room. Also, they have a lot of really awesome psychoanalytic videos. They break down a lot of celebrities and crimes and things like that, and kind of try and analyze what's going on in the person's head who committed it, and sometimes even the victims too. So go check that out. They're awesome.
Down here we got a whole mess of tools, and underneath this is the wheel well. This thing's just loose on here right now, but we're thinking maybe using this little slot as like wine storage or something, maybe. Not that we drink wine that really needs to be stored. I don't even really like wine. But, you know, our $5 barefoot wines need a safe place to be when we're on the road. Also on the Halloween special, Edward Q commented, "Dude, this is a masterpiece. Absolutely genius. Great job." Clapping emoji. Thank you, Edward. Edward is also the person who won our 50th subscriber special, where we gave away a bat that we found in the middle of what looked like a crime scene while we were doing a 55-mile montage marathon video across Moab. So Edward, thanks for being a longtime fan. I'm glad you're still here. And then over here is where the wood stove is going to go. So we're going to put it pretty much right here. The wall's all going to be finished and insulated and everything, and it's going to go right up through the ceiling here where that X is, where that tape is. I'm pretty excited about it. This is our compost toilet. You can see we've already used it a couple times. Yeah. So this is probably going to be right here. And then we removed a piece of wood that was, this was a seat up here. This was just kind of another paramedic seat that went right here. And we pulled it out, and it turned out that this whole space was dead space. This all was totally sealed off. And there was, I mean, that's a lot. That's like 6 cubic feet right there of extra storage space that we wouldn't have known if we didn't cut this off. So I'm really excited about that. One of my first big videos on the channel, and probably, it might actually be the most viewed channel aside from my how to remove rear seats from a Honda Civic, is how to make a historically accurate Roman tunic video, which was so much fun to make. And it turns out it's not that hard. All you need to do is cut a sheet a little bit and then get a belt. But Picosta said what I think we're all pretty much thinking. They said, "I want to live in a Roman villa dressed in my tunic." Gosh, wouldn't that be great? Just wake up, have a glass of olive oil for breakfast, go outside, and touch the wheat fields, and life doesn't get much better than that, I don't think. And over here is our Nightmare switchboard. It's actually pretty cool. If you look at it, this is all the stuff that came loaded up on the ambulance when we got it. So we're going to be rewiring a lot of that and reusing it for different parts. This is a name I don't know how to pronounce. I'm going to do my best. Itinelli Valgavalli left a nice long comment for us. "How does this video have 52 likes? It's crazy good, so detailed and well put together, and I also loved learning about the history behind these tunics." Oh, we got a visitor. We got a visitor. Hi. Do you want to be in the video? You can stand and look out the window like a dog if you want.
I'm just gonna see how tall the actual wood stove is.
Hello. That's all.
That would be kind of cool if we did like a recording thing and made it so you could only light up one.
I don't think people would get it, but yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, my YouTube audience would get it. That's just an example of what our lives are like right now. It's even when we're not able to actively work on the ambulance, like today there's a blizzard going on outside, so that's why we can't do the things that we wanted to do, and we're also waiting for some parts to come. It's just always on our mind, and we're always out here trying to figure out what the next step is. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but it is all really fun if you can look at it the right way. And I also love learning about the history behind these tunics. Not even mentioning how good of an artist you are. Wow! Thank you for making such a great video. All the effort and research you put into this really shows. We'll definitely be making a tunic soon. Love this video. There's some other stuff in there. It's kind of a long comment, but I'll stop there. Thank you so much for that comment. It was really sweet. And I'm glad that so many of you loved the tunic video. And if you liked that one, you can also check out a requested video by the same person, which is a natural dyes video where we used turmeric to dye a shirt, and then I wore it around. And that's pretty much it. And let me know if y'all want to see more natural dye videos aside from just the turmeric, because we could totally cover that in a future video. It was a lot of fun, and it's so historically intertwined. It's very interesting stuff. The countertop's going to be right here to cook on. So we're going to raise it probably a little bit, maybe make some drawers. Then we've got a garbage chute into what is actually an outside container into here. So we've got that hole right there. And then we've got some extra storage on top and stuff, but we're probably just gonna seal that off because it'd be a nightmare to try and build in there, you know? There's also lots of comments about the audio in my videos because it's downright awful in most of them unless we're in pretty much ideal conditions. Like even right here, there's a lot of reverb in here that I can hear. The acoustics aren't great because we're just bouncing off of metal walls here, but we're usually filming outdoors in windy conditions. I've got a microphone with a dead cat on it, one of those fluffy things on it, and even with that, the microphone quality that I have just isn't really enough. So I'm sorry that some of the videos you can't really hear what I'm saying. I do try my best with the microphones, but I just can't afford a microphone that can actually keep up with that demand right now. But on the bright side of it, in the future we'll be able to look back at some of the older videos and some of the videos that are coming out now with bad audio. And once again, I am doing my best to prevent that. And we'll be able to see what a difference it is in the future and look back and go, huh, we really made a lot of progress. And I think that's pretty cool. Crypto Dada, Dada like father, which is a hilarious YouTube name, said, nice video and a beautiful view of Mother Nature. Love you, bro. Love you too, Crypto Dada. This person also has a CRV, so I'm sure they mostly watch their CRV videos, but thanks for watching and commenting. Then we call this the danger room. This is a bunch of the wiring we've been working with. Ooh, yeah, I don't even want to look at that. Every time I close my eyes, I see that room, and I hate it. There's also a little bit of discourse on my roadkill stew video, which, contrary to the title, is not actually about how to make roadkill stew. It's about the ethics of roadkill hunting, what to do with roadkill, etc. And the whole video takes place on the side of the highway in Utah, and I'm crouching next to a dead deer for it. So we started off with a little bit of controversy just by nature of the subject matter, but there's a back and forth between two folks on the comments. And I normally don't talk about this stuff, but it's not necessarily harmful, so we'll talk about it because it made me laugh a little bit. Amass0 says, I always aim for the deer and floor it. Fill that freezer. And then someone named Hagen Bima, in the photo, the Google profile picture for this person, it's an older gentleman in a tuxedo, and his name is Hagen, and he says, as vigabum, this offends me. And then Amass0 replied, nice. And then Hagen replies, you are an sad man, child. How many lives have you taken to sustain your own demon? This is just totally absurd. It's just interesting to me. I'm vegan most of the time, so I thought that was pretty funny. Something cool we're working with here is this little compartment down here is actually locked. This is where they would keep some of the medication on the ambulance crew. So that way, if somebody were to come into the unattended ambulance, they can't just come in here and take, prescribed medication. So this opens up, and it looks like a pretty small space, but I can actually fit in there. So it's actually not that small at all, but we're probably going to use that. I mean, we don't really carry things that we need to lock into a safe, so I don't really know what we're going to lock in there. Maybe our leftovers. Music School, with no C's and all K's, wrote, I just realized that I loved ancient Rome. The only reason it took so long to figure it out is because I hate big Roman cities. Don't we all hate big cities, my friend? I absolutely love rural areas and small villages in ancient Rome. That's awesome. I think it's important to recognize that when we're studying history, we most often see things as what is most often spoken about. For example, in the American Civil War, we don't necessarily hear very much about what life was like for civilians living in the cities, but what we do hear a lot about is the conditions for the soldiers inside the camps and during battles and sieges. And of course that's going to be the more interesting thing to learn about for most people. It's going to be the most interesting thing for Hollywood to make a movie about. And unfortunately you're going to learn about those mostly through primary sources, which is the original source, the person writing about it, whether it's a diary or a letter or something like that. And these are generally the most information dense and super rich sources of information, but they're not usually the most easily digestible things. So go think about an era in history and something that you might not have thought about it. Think about the people who aren't
talked about, and go try and look that up because that's always super fascinating. And you could be the first. Probably not.
And then something else I like about this is this door here. You can shut this door pretty easily. And then that'll separate the front compartment from the back compartment. And then we still got so much room back here. I mean, it's a pretty big rig.
We're going to talk about the Honda CR-V rear seat removal video real quick. Thank you so much for all the feedback about it. I thought that was a really fun video to make because I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. And I was trying to remove the seats in my Honda CR-V without reading how to do it or watching a video or anything. And it took a really long time and it was an absolute mess, and I ended up taking a break. I also did that video in a blizzard, but I took a break and I got all spiritual about a ratchet, which people keep talking about in the comments section, even in other videos, which is really funny to me. But somebody commented on that. It was SJ Vista, and they said, "Your expertise is disfathomable," which is hilarious. And they said, "Thanks for sharing this awesome video." And I'm really proud of that video because I think tutorial videos are really fun, but I think it's even more fun to watch the person giving the tutorial figure out how to do it along the way. Anyway, go check out that video if you haven't seen it either.
And then we've got these cutouts up here for the lights. There were 8 dome lights that came with the rig, and we're probably gonna put 6 in there and then maybe 2 over here as overhead cabinet lights.
Blue Jamie pops up again with probably the sweetest comment of the year. I've told a bunch of people about a few of these comments, and especially this one, and it just makes me smile. "Thank you for inspiring me to get out and live life rather than sit in an office." The name of the channel is No Ceiling, so I'm sure you could have expected that as our mission statement, and I'm really proud of that. Thank you, Blue or Jamie, whatever you go by, or Blue Jamie. To me, that comment is not only super sweet, but it's also a little check mark and says, to me, mission accomplished. And that doesn't mean the mission's over, but it means we're doing the right thing and we're doing a good job. So, thank you. The last comment we'll talk about today is from Hope Denton, and it's also in response to the 2021 year in review where I spoke about some comments and action that was happening on the channel that we needed to talk about. And it's a little long, and I won't get into the context of this because you can just go watch that video and save yourself some time going straight to the primary source. But this is the comment. "Fellow lurker here," clapping emoji. "I found your video on how to take seats out of a Honda CR-V a long time ago because I plan to modify a car myself to travel the whole United States for a year or so." Smiley face. "Masculine/feminine energy does not mean strength/weakness, exactly as you said. And thank you for saying it. The person who left that comment was experiencing weakness and attempting to inflict hurt and pain to someone through ignorant remarks. Stupidity equals ignorance. That person who left that troll comment was quite frankly very stupid." And then like a glitter emoji. "Excited for your series in 2022. Smiley face. Your message and your mission is so inspiring. I'll need all the advice I can get before I embark on my own journey. Keep them coming." Thanks, Hope, for that awesome comment. I'm really excited to be able to give the kind of advice that I can give. I'm by no means an expert, but I do have a lot of experience outside, and I've made a lot of mistakes, which is where my experience comes from. And I think something really interesting about humans is that as we get older, we get more experience, right? But even as a species gets older, we get more experience in things, and that's why we have, modern medicine. It's because so many people came before us and made so many mistakes, a lot of them were deadly, that we now have relatively safe medicine compared to what we used to have. And that can go back up to the outdoors, as everything can, right? But a lot of that knowledge isn't necessarily recorded, and so as part of my job, and so I see it as part of my job to kind of pass on what I've learned through experience or through first-hand account, talking to old-timers and things like that. And whether you're Hope or someone else, I want to encourage you to ask the questions, even if you think that they're really dumb and ridiculous, and I'll try and help you there. And if I can't help you, I'll try and connect you to a resource that you can get those answers from.
And Hope was specifically talking about one of 2 video series that I mentioned. One of them is rebuilding this ambulance that we're in right now, and that's going to be one of the series with my partner. And then the other series is going to be a kind of how to be outside that goes back to basics and covers things for people who don't necessarily have that experience and don't want to pay for a class, because we want to make outside more accessible. It's where we're all from, and it's where we're all going to end up, right? So might as well make our time a little bit more comfortable while we're there. So if you have a question about outside that you think I can answer, please drop it down below. Things could be like how to find water to drink, how to layer clothing, how do I start a fire, things like that. And I also want to say thanks for watching. You rock. I love that you're here. This is a nice video. It's refreshing to film because it's not the normal grind of the regular videos, you know, just trying to teach this and that, going to hyper specifics. It's nice for me to be able to relax and just kind of talk about the channel in a kind of meta way. It feels good, and I really enjoy engaging with y'all, and I hope that this gives you some of the recognition that you probably want and you deserve. So thanks everybody for commenting and watching, and if you're not already, please consider subscribing if you want to join me on this journey, if you want to try and learn some things or maybe learn more about something. And thank you, all of you, Blue Jamie, Hope, Laura, and everyone else. Thank you so much, and remember to stay hungry, and I'll see you later.